Walk through any high-functioning medical practice, and you will see providers and clinical staff operating at peak efficiency. But underneath this smooth clinical workflow, an invisible financial attrition is taking place. Your coders are working hard, your billing team is dedicated, yet somewhere in the gap between the patient leaving the exam room and the claim reaching the payer, revenue is vanishing. This loss occurs because medical coding is a highly complex, high-stakes administrative function. Small, precise gaps, specifically missed CPT codes, ICD-10 specificity errors, and improper modifier usage quietly drain the bottom line. This circular progression chart isolates the exact cause of the problem. According to a 2024 report from Tebra, up to 40% of all initial claim denials are tied directly to these coding, eligibility, and documentation errors. To understand the sheer scale of this issue, consider the impact of a single code. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services reported that in 2024 alone, incorrect coding for CPT code 99214 drove over $500 million in errors. The friction is accelerating across the industry. The MGMA reports that However, the manual rework required to secure that payment consumes valuable staff time and actively destroys operating margins. Beyond the immediate cash flow disruption, recurring modifier errors and improper bundling patterns trigger payer audits, exposing the practice to heavy financial takebacks. Left unaddressed, these repeated coding errors function like compounding negative interest, siphoning tens of thousands of dollars from practice margins month after month. Correcting this revenue leakage requires understanding why flawless coding optimization is so difficult for a standard billing team to execute. Every year, the AMA releases hundreds of changes to the CPT code set. In 2025 alone, there were 420 updates, comprising 270 new codes and 112 deletions. Each update carries immediate billing implications. Submit a claim with an outdated modifier or a deleted code, and the payer will reject it outright. In the past, human billers negotiated with human reviewers. Today, payers deploy AI-driven, automated algorithms to scan thousands of claims simultaneously. These algorithms do not wait for manual review periods. They identify discrepancies and issue denials instantly, operating at a scale human teams cannot match. Because payers leverage instant algorithmic review, the time window for a practice to catch and fix an error prior to submission is narrowing rapidly. A standard in-house team relying on manual review processes will consistently lose against automated payer AI. The math heavily favors the algorithms. Faced with rising denial rates, the traditional response is to hire more staff. But the current healthcare labor crisis makes hiring your way out of this problem economically unviable. According to AAPC salary reports, highly certified coders command an average base salary of over $81,000. This waterfall chart breaks down the true cost of an internal hire. When you add benefits, paid time off coverage, and training costs, the actual annual expense of an in-house credentialed coder easily clears $75,000 at the absolute baseline. Generalist billers typically lack the deep, specialty-specific nuances, like the exact ICD-10 specificity required for complex cardiology or orthopedic documentation, needed to ensure accurate reimbursement. Securing accurate reimbursement requires a strict documentation feedback loop. Coders must possess the expertise to proactively flag clinical note gaps back to providers before the claim ever goes out. Data consistently shows a measurable improvement in first-pass resolution rates when claims are processed by specialty-trained coders rather than generalists. For most mid-sized practices, bearing the loaded overhead to build and maintain a fully credentialed, specialized in-house coding team is an economic impossibility. When internal hiring becomes too expensive, practices often look to traditional outsourcing, a model many owners view with deep, justified skepticism. The flaw in the standard business process outsourcing approach is architectural. Claims are batched out to an anonymous, rotating pool of generalists who lack any specific knowledge of your practice. To protect revenue, medical groups are abandoning external batch processing for a distinct architecture built entirely on dedicated specialists. In this setup, the coding specialist must operate natively inside the practice's own electronic medical record system every single day. Working inside the native EMR allows the coder to organically learn your specific payer mix, adapt to your daily workflows, and understand individual provider documentation patterns. It creates strict accountability. The exact same credentialed professional handles the work daily, rather than your claim sitting in a randomized external queue. True revenue optimization requires deep internal EMR integration. You cannot achieve clinical accuracy by shipping data off to an external processing center. Staffingly Incorporated operates explicitly on this native EMR architecture, providing the operational blueprint for dedicated coding optimization. Their workflow centers on a strict preemptive defense. The team conducts Missed-CPT Detection and ICD-10 specificity reviews entirely before the claims are submitted. To manage volume, Staffingly utilizes AI-augmented smart routing. The system assesses urgency and complexity, instantly distributing coding tasks to the correct specialists to prevent backlogs. This speed is balanced by rigorous internal oversight. Supervisors conduct daily random sample audits on the assigned specialists to maintain strict quality control. Because the team operates directly inside the client's existing infrastructure, this embedded model functions seamlessly across 40 major EMR platforms, including Epic, Athena, and NextGen. By organizing their operations around pre-submission review, Staffingly neutralizes coding errors before the payer's algorithms ever get a chance to flag them. The decision between an in-house hire and a native EMR specialist ultimately comes down to direct financial efficiency. Staffingly operates at $399 weekly, an annualized cost of roughly $20,700. Notice the in-house baseline. The $75,000 expense shatters into hidden liabilities like benefits, PTO, and training, while Staffingly's cost remains solid, a credentialed professional with zero hidden overhead. Transitioning to this model is rapid. Secure EMR access, protocol setup, and full team onboarding are entirely completed within a strict 14-day window. The clinical accuracy is proven at scale. Across over 800 practices, this workflow maintains an error rate securely below 1%. Data security is integrated from day one. Every engagement operates under SOC Type 2, ISO 27001, and HIPAA-aligned compliance protocols. Protecting your clinical margins requires treating coding optimization as a proactive daily specialty. Secure your revenue cycle by initiating a 30-day trial at staffingly.com.